So, as you may know, recently we released a Witch House bundle, and today I'm gonna use the full bundle to make a Crystal Castles type and show you how I would do it. And now, before you write a comment, I know that Crystal Castles aren't Witch House, but they took a lot of inspiration from Witch House, and not only that, they also inspired a lot of new wave Witch House artists. Even if you look at like pastel ghosts or sidewalks and skeletons in the drums or bass patterns or melodies, you can really hear that they've been inspired by Crystal Castle. And when it comes to Crystal Castle's production, the first thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is an octave bass. So in the Witch House bundle, in the Serum pack of the Witch House bundle, we have this preset, which already has the octave LFO built in, so you don't have to place all the notes manually in the piano roll. The only thing that I would do for a Crystal Castles type beat here is maybe switch one of those oscillators for a square wave and switch this for a basic white noise. And we're good to go, so let's play some bassline. Or actually not, we can just take a MIDI bassline from the kit. We can try this one. Or this one. And just like that, with a little twist, with a little change I did, we have a bass line already in like a minute. So the next core element of Crystal Castles production are their 8-bit chiptune sounds. And we have a couple presets like that in the Witch House bundle Serum Bank, and this one is my favorite. Pretty loud and obnoxious, but yeah, let's turn it down and let's try to make some melody with it. We need to make it darker though, like kinda more sad and emotional, because I feel like this is too happy for a Crystal Castles type beat. Okay, the change of those two notes already kinda helped me with this melody. Yeah, let's turn it down even more. I wanna put some distortion on the bass to make it even more broken. And now let's add a lead, because Crystal Castles beats were usually pretty simple, but the sound selection was the thing that made them stand out. So I really have to choose a good lead for this beat, and yeah, I'm gonna just browse through some presets. There's definitely something we can use. So if I remember correctly, this lead should work. Oh yeah, it's gonna work. Kinda reminds me of the lead Crystal Castles used in the song Vanished. Oh yeah, so this is how we're standing with the melodies so far. Okay, actually when I play them both at the same time, this one note... Okay, now it's better. So we already have that. Now I wanna add something that's gonna be very hard to replicate, so some vocal chops. Because Crystal Castles used a lot of vocal chops in their early production. Those were probably just Alice Glass vocals, and we do not have access to them, but we're gonna look for something in the pack. Oh, we actually do have some vocal presets in the Serum bank. So I'm just gonna copy the black chirp melody and I'm gonna kinda remake it to fit the vocal chops better. Okay, and we also have the second melody. So I think I'm just gonna keep it simple and leave those three melodies and the bass. Gonna be just it for the melodic part of the beat. Now let's mix the melody. So let's start with the bass. And I mean, the bass is pretty simple. It already sounds good, so I'm just maybe gonna cut out more highs from it. It's just gonna be it. We need to focus on the vocals. OTT for the vocals to make them suffocated, I guess. Because if you compress the reverb, it sounds pretty bad, but can be pretty cool for some genres, and is the case for this beat. Then we just cut out some lows because we don't need them. And I also added some beat crush with Decimer. Now for the two synth melodies, I'm gonna add some Shaperbox preset from the pack Delete. This sounds pretty cool. And in the Witch House bundle, I think there are like 40 Shaperbox 3 presets. I'm not actually sure. And yeah, with that, I think we have the melodic elements mixed. Maybe gonna do some panning here. That's pretty much it. We don't wanna overcomplicate it. Crystal Castles beats, especially the old ones, are pretty simple. And now let's do the fun part, so the drums. I'm just gonna copy a bass pattern here to focus really just on the groove of the drums. And I'm gonna take this kick that's basically the Crystal Castles kick. This snare that I think originally comes from Crystal Castles song Lenny reminds me of Crystal Castles style drums. And the usual Crystal Castles pattern looks kinda like that. It's just a 4 on the floor pattern with some additional hi-hats, but I'm gonna add more variation to this and some additional snares at the end. Now let's also add some effect. This sounds like straight out of the Crystal Castles track. And I'm also gonna add a crash at the beginning of the loop, and I think this works well as our main drum pattern. So now let's keep the intro short, because that's what I noticed a lot in Crystal Castles songs. They often keep the intro very short, so we're gonna do the same, and we're just gonna drop right into the chorus with this little effect, kind of reverse at the beginning. And I'm thinking we can actually take this, make kind of like a delayed drop, and we can delete the lead from the first half of the chorus. And yeah, let's add the second melody, so the vocal chops, to the verse or a B section. And I'm gonna add a little bridge here with just the kick, snare and the bass. And now let's mix the drums. And by the way, if you want to get all these sounds, first link in the description, 12 kits in one Witch House bundle. And yeah, for the drums, we don't need to do much of processing. As I said, Crystal Castles beats are very, very simple and really comes down just to the sound selection. I'm gonna link all the melodic elements to one channel and, as usual, sidechain them to the kick. I'm gonna add some beat crush to the laser effect I added at the start of the drum loop. And for the crush, I'm just gonna add some basic ping pong delay, and I think we're golden. Oh, the last thing is gonna be a reverb. Yeah, the Crystal Castles beat needs some reverb. I'm just gonna cut out some of the lows, and yeah, we're gonna just link everything to this channel. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to do for the mix. There's not a lot of crazy things going on in Crystal Castles music, so I'm gonna keep this beat simple as well. As I already mentioned before, all comes down to the sound selection, because the sounds you need to use for this kind of beats are pretty unique. And if you want sounds for Crystal Castles beats and other Witch House or just Witch House inspired genres or artist type beats, click the first link in the description, use code WITCH for 30% off, and start making some full music. And yeah, I'm gonna play you the full beat in a second, and I'm just gonna see you in the next video.